We all deal with anxiety in some form or another, whether it's when you're pulled over by the police or before you're about to give a big speech in front of a crowd. But for some, anxiety is a much stronger, more fearsome force, one that never goes away. But what is anxiety exactly? And what's going on in your mind and your body when anxiety strikes? The National Institute for Mental Health, the NIMH, says that over 40 million people in the US over the age of 18 suffer from some form of anxiety-related disorder. And those are just the people who have been diagnosed, or whose symptoms fit into a pre-described condition. Millions more go undiagnosed. Anxiety itself is a natural human response that serves a specific purpose, and that purpose is to alert us of danger. Our goal shouldn't be to dismiss it entirely, just to make it a healthy, more manageable part of our lives. Even if you don't suffer from an anxiety-related disorder, you've likely had to deal with it and cope the best way you know how. Anxiety is a part of our world, the same way stress, sadness, and happiness are. So to help us understand a bit more about anxiety, let's talk about what exactly is going on in your brain when anxiety strikes and how it impacts you. Put simply, anxiety is a sense of fear and apprehension that puts you on alert. Biologically, it's meant to put us in a heightened sense of awareness so that we're prepared for any potential threats. Your fight or flight response is triggered and your system is flooded with norepinephrine and cortisol. Both are designed to give you a boost to perception, reflexes, and speed in dangerous situations. They increase your heart rate, get more blood to your muscles, get more air into your lungs, and in general just get you ready to deal with whatever threat is present. Your body turns its full attention to survival. Ideally, it all shuts down when the threat passes and your body goes back to normal. Unfortunately, when you suffer from an anxiety disorder, things are a bit different. Your body never turns off your fight or flight response, and you end up living with the physical and emotional effects of anxiety on a day-to-day basis, even when there's no reason or cause for it. At face value, anxiety can look a lot like stress, but the reality isn't so simple. Anxiety can arise as a result of stress, but stress can also manifest in other ways. Stresses can make a person sad, angry, worried, or anxious, while anxiety is specifically that feeling of fear, dread, and apprehension that I mentioned. You may never know what's causing your anxiety, or in some cases it can manifest on its own without any real trigger or cause. Stress is often caused by external influences, while anxiety is an internal response. That's part of what makes anxiety intrinsically different than stress, and also what makes it so difficult to manage. There are a number of psychological theories as to why anxiety exists. The three main ones are the psychoanalytical theory, the cognitive theory, and the behavioral theory. The psychoanalytical theory describes anxiety as a battle between the identity, the ego, and the superego. To summarize, your superego is basically explained as the ideal version of you, or your ideal ego. Essentially, this school of thought theorizes that anxiety is a warning sign that you're about to do something that you may not want to do. Now, moving on to the cognitive theory, which suggests that anxiety arises when a person's irrational thought patterns make them see everything as a physical threat, whether it's an actual physical danger, an annoying coworker, or police officer on the side of the road. And last but not least, behavioral theory suggests that anxiety is a learned response due to exposure to frightening or stressful situations. Now, regardless of which theory you subscribe to, it's unhealthy when those instincts are turned on constantly. Your body's stress response is something designed to be engaged when needed and disengaged when not. Persistent anxiety, however, is a problem. Many people have lived in an anxious state for so long that they don't know any other feeling, so they are unaware that they are actually suffering from persistent anxiety. Recognizing anxiety isn't easy in these types of situations. However, identifying its red flags is a good way to start. It's normal to feel nervous at the prospect of having to speak in public. However, it's not normal to feel anxiety about having a mundane conversation with a cashier. Situational anxiety is one of those things that we can only overcome by confronting it. Generalized anxiety is something that can only be coped with by trying to rewrite the pattern of thinking that elicits it. Regardless of whether you're living with anxiety or suffering from an anxiety-related condition, there are ways to deal with and lessen anxiety's impact. It starts with recognizing the effects of anxiety and then learning the right ways to cope. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep seeking more.